This week's episode is brought to you by cliches. Did you know that cliches are actually an onomatopoeia? It's the sound that was made when several newspapers being printed over and over and over again came out of the press. So, cliche, 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 cliche. Blaster blade, blaster blade. What? Nothing. Cliches. They fucking suck, right? Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus. I'm Atlas.
And I'm Matt again.
And I'm Root Beer.
Yeah, welcome back, Matt. How was your week off?
It was okay.
I'm
tired as shit.
Yeah, and then...
And working two jobs exists.
And what?
Working two jobs exists.
Yeah, and then there was all that hullabaloo with the government shutdown. And
oh, yeah. Yeah, I love have Congress having control of my job. JK, just kidding. I don't.
Yeah. So this week, we're going to talk about the Bushiroad World Championship Finals thing. The thing where everybody who topped their tournaments goes and tries to fight each other. It's like the ultimate who would win in a fight, except like sad. So there was like most Bushiroad events, they split it into Japan and the West because Japan would kill everybody if they combined it into one tournament. And we're just going to go over it and make fun of it. So here we go. For the, let's start with the West. The top 8 was 6 Overlords, 1 Blaster, and 1 Messiah. Can you guess who won?
Messiah.
Unfortunately, no. Somehow Blasters got the win on this. And then the second and third place both went to Overlords.
All right. So I guess the first thing we should talk about is 6 Overlords, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think Overlord was pretty much just the best pick for Worlds. Like, it has the most ridiculous cards. It's not missing anything yet, like because we don't have the Link Joker booster yet, right? Or we didn't have it for Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Stargate booster.
No,
The
we did.
Stargate booster. We had the Link Joker booster.
Stargate booster is Link Joker booster.
Oh. The original Link Joker. The actual clan booster.
We had the first one, but not the second one.
Yeah, Dimension Police goes and cries in a corner.
God, don't play Dimension Police. Never ever play that clan. That clan sucks. Just sell it and just never play it again. Shout out to
What about the amazing power of using Go Cannon and Grand Scout on the new Excalibur while it's on Dayusha?
Well, first tried, man. No problem.
Oh yeah, and then in terms of the breakdown by country, for the top 8 it was 3 Australians, 2 Canadians, 1 Mexican, 1 Frenchman, and 1 American. And well, I guess that them Australians are savvier than most, and Canadians. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised Blaster managed to get the top.
I mean, he did trigger sack the hell out of all of his matches, I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, at least I know for the topping match, he quad triggered him for the win. And I think both games opened up perfectly with Wingull use, so he could just rush, grab his blaster things, and clear his field before Overlord could retire it.
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, anybody who's, like, obsessed with the anime, this must be their wet dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, man, Blasters versus Overlords. It's just like the anime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paint the garage. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of concerned that Overlords took as much of the top 8 as they did. I'm not surprised that they're there, especially because I thought Chaos was going to be much more of a problem. But I guess nobody...
Well, do you want to, like... Okay, so let's say everyone's on the same page for the tournament. Everyone has the same amount of information, right?
Mm-hmm.
The decks that their people are most likely to play are Overlords and Chaos, right?
Yeah.
Even knowing the information, do you really want to play Chaos when other people are going to be on Overlord?
Does Chaos have a bad match against Overlord?
What's Chaos? Yeah, why wouldn't it?
Like, even without a field, Overlord still has Purge to just ping them to 5 and build advantage. They have Restanders, and then they have a pretty consistent way to clear the board, and Denial Griffin can shut down Glue Ball turns.
Ping them to 5.
The purge deals damage too.
Like,
why would you want to play chaos into that? You wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, you actually did watch part of the stream. Did anybody actually play chaos at all?
No.
I didn't see it. I saw deleters.
Yeah.
I saw Luar Diablo. Oh my god.
Yeah,
what kind of fool brings Luar Diablo to this?
Yeah. The Americans. That's the kind of people who bring Luar Diablo.
And there's like Luar Diablo versus a really shitty ZTV player who didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. Lost like after first stride, I think the Luard player had 1 card in hand and like 1 card on field.
Oh god.
5 damage. And it was like, well, this game's over.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I just like moments like that really make me sad to be a part of this community. Like there's that, and then like after the final or the world finals, like a bunch of people were on Vanguardians and stuff asking like, hey, what's everyone's blaster deck list, or does anyone have any lists for blasters? And then one guy goes like, will you people stop asking about blaster lists? Play your own deck. Stop being so cancer. Like,
basically. All right. So firstly, if you want a blaster list, you can just copy the blaster list from Worlds. Secondly,
exactly, yeah.
Secondly, like it does. Like people obviously copy the top deck. What I saw more of after Worlds is people selling their blaster decks because it is now the best time to. It was then the best time to play your blaster deck because it's like, oh, Blaster won Worlds, here, buy this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shift eyes left and right.
Yeah, but I mean, like just people like that. I'm like, dude, would you shut up? Like, some people get enjoyment out of winning. So leave them alone.
And also, some people just want ideas.
Yeah. Me, I don't know. For some reason, like seeing Kagero or Royal Paladin is just boring to me. Like, just because they're the poster children of Vanguard, that you're like, okay, I guess it's fine. But at least Gear Chronicle can't be bullied anymore, I guess, for being Gear Chronicle.
I mean, Gear Chronicle has fallen a little bit by the way, so they haven't been supporting a long time for Gear Chronicle.
Or at least good stuff. Although Set 14 might change that, but who knows?
I mean, we already know we already have an idea of where the deck is going.
What, Chronojet the White?
Yeah, and then his stride form.
They really need to make a Chronojet the Gray. They need to. But they're not going to. So, looking over on the Japanese side. So, this was... I don't even know what they were thinking. Let me just paint the scene for you. The top 4 are Overlords. Okay. Token Rambu. Dark Irregulars. And Neo Nectar.
Okay, 2 of those 4 things make sense.
But, like, Token Ranbu.
I'll buy Token Ranbu before I buy that Darkness list topping.
I mean, we harp on how Token Ranbu is not a clan.
It isn't.
And it got second place at Japanese Worlds.
It isn't a clan.
What
you're talking about right now.
Like, a lot of these lists are just so cartoonishly strange. Like the Dark Irregulars list had 3 Glens and Vampire, 4 Sharhat grade 3, like the one who Scatterson, 2 still Vampire.
I have a real question though.
Yes.
You ever notice how many heals the Darkness list is playing?
Oh, he's only playing 3. What? He's only playing 3?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's doing 8 stand, 5 crit, 3 heals.
Nothing makes sense to me anymore.
He's just playing a Sharhat crit. Just why not, right?
Yeah. Does he even have Enigmatic Assassin? I don't think he has Enigmatic Assassin in this list.
He does not. He's also playing 4 Closet Balloon, also known as the Depeche Mode groupie, but like,
I don't get this list. Did he actually just hit Still Vampire every time in Steel games?
It seems like what he's trying to do.
I mean,
like that is the only explanation I have is that he Gilderied with Still and won games like that.
I mean, if you do
heal so that he doesn't and always he heals out of Still Vampire less.
Oh yeah, and then there's also the thing where like anything that counterblasts in the deck aside from Wear Tighter Jaeger refunds itself.
Yeah.
Aside from Glenzin, I guess. Also.
But Glenzin also countercharges for you.
Also true. But yeah, that is kind of neat. Where like I thought, like a lot of people thought, like Still Vampire kind of lost its usefulness because no one keeps their starters around anymore. But like doing it to a grade 1 and then restricting grade 1s with Gilderai, shit hurts you.
So I mean, as long as they're not on grade 3, you could restrict 3 guards on Gilderai and steal games.
When I played Still Vampire, after a little bit after Flying Librarian came out, this is before Blood and Mouse and before Succubus of Attachment in the U.S., I had a serious problem finding Still Vampire, and you don't want to ride it because you don't want to play a lot of them because you don't want to ride that piece of crap.
Yeah.
And like, I would have a problem finding it or like consistently even having enough like. If your opponent knows what's going on, it's like really bad, right?
Yeah.
Because they're just like never gonna put you to 5.
Yeah.
So his opponents, most of his had no idea.
Yeah.
What the deck was, and then they put him to 5, and then he like Still Vampire, and they're like, oh shit.
What if he just got
that's
so lucky?
A narrow window.
Like, what if he got so lucky as to not soul charge or damage check Still Vampire? And then just had it, and he like...
That's surely impossible.
Yeah. I mean, when the tournament is best of 1 leading into the finals, you can, like, steal your way into top 8, and then it's just a matter of luck.
Yeah.
Let's see what other wacky hijinks they got into. With the Token Rambu list, what's Token Rambu?
Dude, all these cards look the same to me.
I know, right?
They're, like... halfway between ZTB and Gold Paladin. You call a bunch of shit early, rush, and then you have that red-haired grade 1 that restands itself, and then you have a restander that only costs a Soul Blast. So you just push them to high damage early, and then try to rush them down with your restanding strides, or one of the strides give 10k to a thing, so you can give 10k to the grade 1, attack, restand it, attack again, and just steal games.
See, I thought Chaos had a boring aesthetic, but this is somehow even worse. Like, just anime stills, they all kind of look the same. You know.
It's a Weiss Schwartz deck.
Kind of.
That somehow made its way into the wrong game.
When I was clicking through the pictures, I was like, why is there a Weiss deck here? And I like, kept clicking. And then I realized, in fact, it was not a Weiss deck.
Yeah, I mean, the Overlord one that took first place is like pretty straightforward. I mean, he is doing 3 the X, 3 the end with 4 the Purge, which is a little interesting, but
I think that's probably the best.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you could still go into the end early if you need to rush your opponent early, and then like you might as well just play the cross if you're playing the end too, so yeah. And I'm not going to say that you can Legion after you Drachma, because you're never going to have the counterblast to restand anyways.
I mean, you know how people are.
But you...
Although, actually, if you use Conroe, you can get the counterblasts to restand.
Jesus Christ, okay. Yeah, I noticed he's doing...
You have to use Conroe on the Drachma turn.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed he's got Conroe, but... and just the effect heal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know Gabe in real life plays 4 Purge, 4 Legend, and then he keeps 1 Flame Dragon heal, so he might be able to grab it off of the top 5 search. But doing the cross in the end means you can kind of like free your deck up so that you can play all the 4 of the effect heals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, like, when you have Conroe that can search out Conroe, you basically have perfect rides as long as you have a grade 3 in your hand, so there's no real reason to run the Legend.
Yeah. I think Gabe just got salty about like Pale Moon because he's like I can't do anything because I played him one too many times with it. So and speaking of Gabe, this new Nectar list, I noticed it kept Dream Spinning and Glorious Thighs, Asha, and also two Searing Heart Asha.
Eh. Like, I disagree with the Searing Hearts. Like, you might as well just run Inez to build advantage early. Aside from Velhamina, your other strides really don't matter. You might as well just run the Ashas. I can't really think of anything you would put in their place.
I like that he's running 4 of that Musketeer stride from the Zoo Booster. Or, no, the G Guard, sorry.
Well, yeah, it's like their only good G Guard.
Yeah, I guess so. And Rain Breath, I guess. Rain Breath's pretty decent.
Yeah, but it's also, like, small, and Tarot can be 15k pretty consistently, because either you're not playing Control and you have a field, or you are playing Control and you don't have a field.
Yeah, makes sense. I also noticed that he's playing 3 of the starter.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know a lot of decks will play 2 of it, just so you can search it off of, Asha's Stride Still in the case of the original, or Searing Heart. But 3 is kind of peculiar. Like, something tells me that guy damage checked the second one too much, and he's like, alright, I'm putting a third one in. Like, just out of frustration.
I don't know. That nice theory is that Japan realized this game is borked, and so they're just doing whatever the fuck they want.
I think that start is really good.
What?
I think that start is really good. Also, like, if you could, like, if he knows it's gonna die or get locked, he at least has the out to draw another one.
Yeah.
That's true. It's, only 2 stride fodder, which is pretty cool.
I mean, that one is a bit weird to me, with only 6 grade 3s, too.
Yeah. And then, let's see, 3 Thuria, 4 of... God, I forgot that girl's name. And then 4 of the Resist girl. That's doing, like, the OK symbol with her hand. I don't know. This one is, like, weird in the not weirdest way.
Yeah. This one is, like... I don't find it optimal, but I can see the deck just being good enough on its own that it can top.
Yeah. I like that Japan kind of got senioritis with Vanguard, and they were just like, alright, let's just play what we want. Instead of being try-hard. Oh, I forgot that... What?
It's difficult for me to kind of, like, figure out how the Zoo Booster even affected the metagame. Just because, like...
I see no Gridora lists.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no Chaos here, there's no Gridora, there's no... Like, all the things that we assumed that there would be. There's kind of not there. So
it seems like everyone was just bringing Overlords.
I mean, it's like Matt said, it's the safest decision.
Yeah.
So.
It's like... That's one of those things where, like, it doesn't feel impactful enough to be called the best deck in format, but it's also the most consistent and safe one, so you could just bring Overlord and have it, and you'll probably do fine.
It's also really hard to mess up.
Yeah.
It's very...
So if you're playing in, like, a long tournament, which I don't know how... And Worlds wasn't terribly long, but if you're playing in, like, like a 9-round tournament, right, you want an easier deck so that you have less mental anguish by the end of it.
Yeah, because if you don't bring, like, food with you, you're going to start, like... passing out and making dumb decisions.
You're going to start doing that.
What?
Even if you do bring food with you.
True.
It's just how it goes.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot the best part. So I have a Google Translate on, like, any page that has, a different language. It will translate it to English, but of course, because it's Google Translate, it doesn't do too well. So the tweet with all of the deck lists on it for Japan, this is what Google translated it into. Fighters Climax Finals competition ended. The victory is Blowjob. The second victory is Sword Dance. Third place Dark Regulars. Fourth place Neonectar. Congratulations. For details, please wait for the official portal site next week. So,
what?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking a screenshot of this tweet and putting it on our Twitter. So at Nexus at Night, you can go check that out, and it's just fantastic. I don't know why it made me so happy. Oh my god, I like. Also, on top of the Worlds thing, Bushiroad announced that they were going to have a new ban list, right? And the one change they made was that Sword Me is no longer restricted to a deck with Jewel Knight grade 3s.
Yeah, because at this point, no one besides Jewel Knights would play Sword Me anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Blaster engine just does the job better, so
yeah,
what do you care?
Well, even in Sankguard, people stopped caring about the Jewel Knight engine once the Blaster engine came out. Yeah. Like, even if Sword Me wasn't banned, I think Sankguard decks would have evolved the same way they did anyways.
Yeah, I mean, like, it just doesn't feel like a ban list, though. It would be like, all right, the Ice Cream Man's here, and then you go up and it's just like, yeah, we got like this half-melted drumstick left. Counts as ice cream, I guess. You're like, all right. You know.
I mean, based on, like, the results in both America and Japan, though, the only thing they could do is start banning pieces of Overlord.
I think they should put Denial Griffin to 1. And, like, I know it seems like kind of like just a random fuck you, but a lot of decks, like, you know, will run 2 to 3, and for decks of, you know, in tier 2 or lower tier 2, Denial Griffin is very oppressive. Like, it's kind of hard to try and, like, deal with and or bait out 2 to 3 per game. I think if you put it to 1, especially with Overlord, where they still have Defeat Flare, and, you know, whatever the flip G guard is, Advanced Guard, something like that, like, they'd still be fine, I think.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Mean, there's also, like, an increasing amount of decks that are getting resist units, so...
Yeah, that's what someone told me on the subreddit when I said that. Yeah. I was like, yeah, but not everybody's going to have those.
Yeah.
And
also another thing I was thinking is, like, I think one of the things that's helping keeping Overlord afloat is the fact that Destiny has a perfect retire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too.
Go.
Yeah, so, like, even decks with good field retention can still get broken up just by Destiny, so you have to put in a lot more effort to try and keep your pieces.
Yeah, or just have enough advantage to keep replacing them.
Yeah, like, I don't know how much of an effect that hitting Destiny would have, considering they can still just fish it out, but...
I don't think
that would have been my first guess.
I don't think they necessarily have to hit Destiny, not yet anyway, but, like, Denial Griffin to 1 wouldn't cripple the deck, it would just hit it, like, just a little bit. You know? Step on its toes. We're not kneecapping the thing, just, you know... Give everyone, like, just a little bit of respite, you know? Also, goddamn, that guy the guy in Japan had 4 purges and a drachma.
Yeah. And SP'd out Ziegenbergs.
Who are these people? Like, let's see. And Dark Irregulars guy had a bunch of SP'd out stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
SP blends-ins, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, that's pretty much it when it comes to Worlds. That's what happened, and the ban list doesn't really feel like a ban list, but time goes on. And as we're getting toward the end of the G era, something tells me that, like, Bushiroad's either going to, like, introduce a mechanic that somehow outclasses Stride, which they got their work cut out for them, or they're going to just kind of cut down everything at once.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that. What about you guys?
I mean, the way they've designed this game, it's hard to go anywhere but up. So, like, the only ways they could do it is to either, like, power creep Stride, which is terrifying, or create some new mechanic or, like, find some way to, like, soft push out Stride and kind of reboot the game.
Yeah, I mean...
So, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's the only option they have. So So if you look at the current strides, they've just been going over them. Mm-hmm. Like they've just been creating more absurd, bigger strides, right?
Yeah.
What they haven't been doing, or at least not on purpose, is going under them, i.e., creating cards that make it difficult to get to the point where you're striding.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do that, you risk making the game ends on turn 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So
you get like a Yu-Gi-Oh type thing going on.
Right. And so right now, it's like pretty difficult to end the game prior to turn 3, right? Like very, very few decks even have the option to do that. But yeah, that's just space that they don't use on purpose. So they could lock out. So you can think about, how to beat out Stride is create cards that do a lot before Stride, or maybe when you haven't Road yet at all.
Yeah, which I think Bushiroad realizes that's a possibility, which is why they keep slapping GB1 onto things that weren't GB before.
Yeah. They could create a mechanic that's like, if you have no face-up cards in your G zone, do this cool effect.
Yeah. So yeah, like either power creep out Stride completely, start making more rush decks that beat out Stride by outpacing it, or like soft reboot the game and just kick Stride to the curb completely.
I mean, kicking Stride to the curb completely will alienate a lot of people. Like, if you did it all at once, you would have to kind of like do a boil the frog thing where you just like slowly like kind of phase it out a little bit at a time. But I think the biggest part is if they get rid of G guards, that's definitely going to be another big thing, because as Matt said, G guards are arguably, or no, I'd say objectively, more broken than Strides in terms of raw card advantage.
Yeah.
I think when I said that, Strides had not become as ridiculous. So I think at the time I said that, G guards were better than the Strides that existed, because G guards were gaining more cards on average than those Strides.
Oh, and we've now shifted the other direction.
The Strides are better than G guards, because if you look at Strides now compared to Strides when G guards first came out, they're wildly different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now you're getting things that like give a shit zillion amount of power. They can just draw endless amount of cards, and they have ways of blocking out your guard options. So
compare Purge to G guards and even GPT-5, which was a great set, but it's infinitely better than any of the cards in that set.
Trying to think of the G guards in that set. What was in GBT05?
There's no G guards in GBT05.
Oh.
But I'm saying Strides when G guards came out were much, much worse than the Strides now.
Gotcha.
So when I said that G guards were better than Strides, I meant in relation to the current Strides. Because the current Strides were gaining on average 1 to 2 cards for a couple counterblast.
Yeah.
But the Strides now, for almost no counterblast, are gaining like 3 to 4 cards.
When do you think that shifted? Was that like with set 13? Or
Yes.
Like
as soon as they started GZ, they were just like fuck it and started going nuts with their card effects.
Well, I guess the first time is when you had Ziegenberg.
So that'd be set 11.
Yeah.
It was GBT11. So GBT11, I think, is when we started the upward swing.
Yeah, but at that time, things still felt fair and manageable, and you could still like beat out the top decks without feeling too oppressed.
Like set 11 and 12 were probably one of my favorite times in the metagame, and then the Link Joker Clan Booster like ruined it all. Like especially for like an OTT player, you get like maybe 2 months of being on top again, and then just gone.
Yeah.
What a shame. Good Lord, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I don't know if this Worlds tells us or Bushiroad anything, but I hope they have something in store, because like if things keep like going up as fast as they are now, we're going to get some kind of like shitty dystopian Terminator future.
Or they're going to have to pull a Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they realize, oh shit, we completely fucked everything up. We have to kind of ruin everything.
And then start from scratch like they do every 4 months or something, or however long it takes for them to do a ban list. It used to be 6 months, and then they shortened it to 4, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I was thinking about their introduction of Link Summoning, where they were like, we're just going to completely change the way your extra deck works. Have fun with that.
And then didn't it turn out to be like super? Like someone found out a way to break it anyway, so it's like,
yeah. I don't think it affected the top decks very much because, Like, they either found ways to adapt or they could function with the changes anyways.
Yeah. Someone told me that in Vanguard, Japan is where all the broken combos are figured out, and in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's in America.
Yeah. I don't know. The American Vanguard community is like, it's something.
We're really, really dumb. Like,
yeah.
It's I've always wanted to do an episode where we just get like quotes from the subreddit and Vanguardians, and obviously don't name names, but just read them out loud and make fun of them. But like that almost seems too mean for us, or mean for you guys. That seems pretty on point for me.
Have you met us?
Okay, fair. But
I mean, who was it that said it would be cool if the clan was cool?
Right.
That was me.
Oh man, that's our greatest. That's our greatest moment.
Who also said Token Rambo is not a clan? You know what? That's definitely not too low
That's
for
not
us.
even mean. That's just true.
And yet, it's still more of a clan than I don't know, Nubatama right now.
Oh god, Nubatama doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
Holy
or
shit.
like Angel Feather.
Remember when everyone was super hyped for Nubatama, and then it just vanished from the face of the earth?
The stuff in set 14 kind of looks kind of neat so far, but we only know like 2 of the cards anyway. So
yeah, I mean the new grade 3, like it definitely gives them something they needed, which was easy card advantage.
Yeah, and then also another grade 3 with Dominate, so you can run both, and like if you misride, it's not the end of the world. Unlike a certain Triceratops that I know, Gaia. God damn.
Yeah. And then, like, the way their release schedule is working, like, some decks will be getting their 3rd grade 3 bosses, while some people are barely at their 2nd.
Yeah. I mean, like, in Pale Moon, we got our 2nd, like, last February. And then we haven't gotten any, like, actual set support since then. We've gotten a promo that changed everything, and then just kind of that's it. Like, I want a follow-up, goddammit.
You haven't actually gotten that promo yet, to be fair.
Oh, I know. It's a box topper for set 14, though. So
yeah, and I think by then, Hari will be so far.
I don't know.
I'm so disappointed. So what they could have done is they could have, in one case, put 1 copy of each. They've done this for another. Butcher has done this for another game.
What game?
White Schwartz.
Oh.
Where they put like these cards. They put like they had like 4 cards. They put 1 of each in a case, or something like stupid like that. Or maybe it wasn't 1 of each. Maybe it was like a play set of each in a case.
Dude, this is bumming me out.
They really just wanted you to buy a case.
Yeah. Still bumming me out.
No, they could do that.
God, please don't give them any ideas.
They already have the ideas.
Please don't remind them. Well, like, don't be that.
I don't remember what the situation was. It was a long time ago, but it was maybe it was an SP, maybe it was like a special variant. I don't remember, but I remember for Cinderella Girls, or maybe it was Girlfriend Beta. I don't remember which one. It doesn't matter. The point is they can do this shit. They have the ability. They have the technology.
Why do I get the feeling that you were that kid in class, or like Ray's class was letting out? You're like, wait, you forgot to collect the homework. Please don't be that guy.
Well, I don't want to lose the homework, man.
Yay, the future. Oh, speaking of the future, they revealed the last Zeroth dragon, so I figure we should talk about it. So in the anime, or spoiler alert, I guess, if you really care that much, they basically possess Kazuma, and then he gets the United Sanctuary Zeroth Dragon. So Zeroth Dragon of Zenith Peak Ultima. So like every Ultimate Stride, same copy as your Vanguard. When you stride, counterblast 2. And when it's placed, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for 4 cards. Shuffle your deck. Call 2 cards from among the cards searched to separate rear, and put the rest on top of your deck in any order. All of your units will be chosen for your trigger effects this turn. So this is another good like encompassing of what the clans do. Sans Angel Feather, I guess, but that's kind of hard to.
I mean, this is pretty close to what I predicted.
What was your prediction again?
I think I said like search top 5 or 10 of your deck, and you can call from. I can't remember exactly what I did, but I remember like search X amount of cards from the top of your deck, call them, and then put the rest back on top in any order.
Yeah, I mean,
and the units you call would gain power.
I mean, they basically just did all 3 Paladins, OTT, and I guess Genesis, because they have like some stacking abilities to them, all at once. So good for them. What do you guys? So now that we have all of the Zerath dragons, where do you think this ranks?
I'd put it like around the middle alongside Megiddo. I think it has a high ceiling depending on what your deck can do with it, but also like a pretty low floor because at its most vanilla, it's basically just a regular stride.
It actually feels like what Zerath Dragons were supposed to be, unlike all the ones they had in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. This is like very threatening because you know exactly what you're getting for your first 2 drive checks, and of course you're going to put triggers on there because why wouldn't you? But there's like a certain scare factor to this with the opponent where you don't show them, you just look at 4, call 2, and put the rest on top.
I mean,
Atlas would put PGs up there.
What?
Knowing Atlas would put PGs up there.
Oh, I would. I totally would.
And we have no G zone, so it wouldn't matter.
I don't have I don't have a United Sanctuary deck right now, so that's I'm kind of SOL in that department. But
I mean, like the most efficient thing you could do with this is put a stand and a crit on top, so you restand your board and then give them all crits.
Yeah, that is pretty nice. I saw a bunch of people being like, "Wait, you could put a draw trigger on top, and then you could draw 5 times." I'm like, dude, that's not how that fucking works. Are you serious?
You could put a draw trigger, then another draw trigger, so you could fulfill the prophecy
of what, drawing a draw off a draw. Yes, the prophecy we all fulfill all the time.
Yeah,
it's literally how draw triggers work. You always draw another one, which is why it is objectively better to play an odd number of draws. So one of your draw triggers must necessarily draw a non-draw trigger.
Oh yeah, I like to do 5. That's like my.
Yeah, that's why 7-5 was the old staple in like the olden days of Vanguard, is because you want one of your draw triggers to always draw a non-draw trigger.
Yeah.
It would instead draw a crit.
I mean, at least that's a 10k shield. Or maybe a useful effect, depending on what your crits are.
An old Vanguard? Nah.
Yeah, true that. So, now that we have all of them, it's like what's your list from top to bottom of all the Zerath dragons?
For me, I'd say, like, Dust is on top for sure. I think he's just absolutely borked, and you can use him from at least 4 damage, possibly even 3 if you think you can make a strong enough turn. Then I would do Stark. I think he has a very high floor just because no matter what, when you ultimate stride him, you get 3 attacks for 36k, so, like, no matter what your field looks like, what kind of card options your opponent has, he will always do the very bare minimum versus all of the other Zerath Dragons where if they have some way to disrupt your board or you can't make a field for some reason, the Zerath Dragon is just kind of useless. So I think I give Stark really high points just for sheer consistency, and then if you can make a strong field to go along with him, the ceiling just raises higher. Then I would put, like, Megiddo and Ultima in kind of the same place, where both of them have, like, fairly low floors, where if you can't make a board, you're just kind of shit out of luck. And then, like, if you can make a board, I would put Megiddo at a higher ceiling, because you can probably make a stronger turn with it, but I think Ultima is more consistent just because you could put stand to crit, and then all of a sudden you have plus 20k to your columns with a crit. And they all restood.
And then...
I would probably put Zoa and Drachma both around the bottom. Both of them are, like, pretty easy to cheese. Zoa I might put lower because she can't function without a board. And then Drachma, you can kind of do some cheesy things, but then even the cheesy things are kind of screwed by Ultimate Stride existing, because your opponent can still Ultimate Stride when they're not on grade 3. I think the chance of failure on those two is just higher than any of the other ZRs.
Makes sense. Matt, how about you?
I agree with mostly his list. I don't like. I think Dust is still clearly the best, even in its new iteration. I think in its previous iteration, it shouldn't even be a card that was allowed the public to see.
I mean,
like, I don't even know why they showed that card, but Eat is still like very good post that, because if you're like normally when you stride one of the ZRs, you're going to be at 4 or 5 damage because you're typically afraid you're going to lose the game next turn. Mm-hmm. Like otherwise, there's not a whole lot of point to stride into them because you won't be able to play the game for the rest of the game. So you only want to stride these things when you're like almost like far enough behind, and this is your only out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that Dust and like anytime you stride Dust, you will probably have enough CB. And Stark is just here's 3 attacks. I hope you have 6 cards or 3 PGs or a G guard and some other cards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're always getting probably at least 6 every time. And if you have anything else going on, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Especially in Stargate, where most of the decks can either multi-attack or make large columns.
It is a little awkward in every Grappler because it doesn't actually restand.
Yeah, but you can just restand the rest of your board. It's fine.
Yeah. And then, against Link Joker, like, several Vanguard attacks are generally, like, decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think it opens up a bit. It's just, so I think Stark is, like, it seems, like, really lazy to me, design-wise, just because it's, like, it attacks 3 times, and I'm like, alright. I don't know. I guess it's, like, too hard to word the double restand without it restanding again.
Yeah. What about the rest?
I don't know. Megiddo is, like, again, I think the most ZR-like, and I think Ultima is also, like, very ZR-like, because, like, they have complicated effects that use, like, things from multiple clans, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible you can read the triggers affecting anything as the OTT side.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really apply much to Genesis for me. Like, I don't really see the Genesis in the card.
That was kind of a
you could make
like...
budget Wiseman turns out of this, because if you have a bunch of Taros and Soul, stack 2 crits onto your Wiseman, it's restanding for minimum 24k with 2 crits.
Yeah, that's fair.
Budget Wiseman.
Also, if you don't have a Wiseman, you could get one.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Yeah, so you could just get 2 Wisemen, get them a bunch of crits, and then hopefully your opponent doesn't have 2 heal triggers.
I'm sure they do.
Well, that's assuming that you're playing against somebody with a disruptive G guard, which
yeah,
yeah. I mean
why wouldn't you?
My list is different from you guys's, but
after Link Joker booster, Chaos has an effective disruptive G guard,
and
it's a Gleam.
Why?
There's a stupid Chaos card that's like, or when it's discarded.
Mm-hmm.
You can like Soul Blast one.
Oh, is that close? Right?
Well, it's only if you have a Chaos Heart, so it only works when you're on a stride.
Oh shit, my bad. Never mind, I'm retarded.
That would have been cool.
For some reason, I thought you just needed a Chaos Vanguard.
This card's they thought about that and actually made it so that you had to be on a stride.
Oh,
that would have killed me.
No fun allowed.
No fun zone. And then,
I'm retarded. I just assumed it might be because there was rough translations, but I just assumed that it was just if you're on a Chaos Vanguard.
That makes sense. I mean, what about Zoa and Drachma? Is it in that order?
Drachma sucks.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. I think I don't actually know how to actually think about Zoa at all, because like there's no stuff that there's no card that works with it. Like,
yeah.
The only card that would work with it is the stupid acorn whatever, but it doesn't even work because it immediately becomes successful and then restands when it's not even attacked yet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like no way to like work this card around. It's like really annoying.
The only thing I can think of is if you call a booster, then call Tapering Beaver. So when you boost the Tapering Beaver, then it becomes successful. Or you do the thing double, but. That's all I can think of.
No, because once you make anything 99k, it's going to be successful.
Well, no, you do that first, then call Tapering Beaver. So it didn't see it become 99k.
Oh, I see.
So you'd have to keep it in your hand, do the Zoa call, it becomes 99k, then call Tapering Beaver.
No, the point is I would want to target the Acorn Master so it would restand itself.
Oh.
But you can't even do that.
Yeah. But Zoa is just one of those things where They're almost certainly going to PG the Quint 9 unit if they have a PG, so you just need to make the rest of your board as large as possible so they can't G-guard it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
So my list is from top to bottom: Dust, Ultima, Stark, Megiddo, Zoa, Drachma. I think the potential for Ultima is so great in terms of like what you can pull out that there's like so many things you can do with this that I think it's got more to it than Stark. Stark definitely works better when you're behind and against Link Joker and all that stuff, but like Ultima's ceiling is so high that I have to put it above Stark.
I just can't. Yeah. Ultima's just so bad when you're behind, which is when you're typically going to use these cards. I just can't see it being better than Stark.
Yeah. And also being weak to disruption in a control meta is like pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you do get to call two things out of it, so it's not like if you have an empty board, it's not that big of an issue.
Yeah, but calling 2 units and then like setting up 2 triggers is like not better than 3 Vanguard attacks. I don't think.
I mean,
yeah, like I think at the end of the day, if you're working off of a subpar board, it just becomes like a strong stride turn, and I don't think this does anything that something like, say, Alexandros couldn't have also done.
I mean, Alexandros can't search things, can it?
Well, no, but then
exactly,
like you can just restand whatever garbage is in your hand; it'll still be huge. Like, I don't think this really adds much that any other deck couldn't replicate with their own strides.
Oh, you got a point.
Like, and also I just value consistency more. I think Stark having a higher floor than most of the ZRs is just really strong in his favor.
I think I value the ceiling higher than the floor. Just like with like, you know, there's 6 United Sanctuary clans, and you know that there's so many cards within that you could do crazy shit with. Especially if you got like all the, you know, you do all your blaster engine stuff. I mean, that's assuming it. Yeah, you probably have the counterblast for it, but like, you know, you do all your blaster engine stuff, then attack with Ultima, restand Blaster Blade with more crits, and like, good lord. Yeah, man.
Like, I don't know. I definitely think like the Dust is like an A.
Oh yeah, for sure. Dust is the top. I saw I saw somebody's list. They had Dust second to last. I'm like, okay, this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever read.
Yeah, like free damage if they're at 4 or less, like pseudo deleting them, cutting off G guards. I don't know how you could think Dust is bad.
And then like,
it does PGs, not in Jurassic, so whatever.
I mean, like, they kind of portrayed Dust unceremoniously. Both times you see him used, Chrono like pulls a victory out of his ass, and then in Chrono's time using him, he just did it at the wrong time. And
yeah,
just, like, so.
I mean, if they showed Dust at its full potential, they'd have to admit how fucking broken it is.
Yeah, that's true. And Bushiro doesn't want to admit mistakes, so.
This was like, yeah, of course Dust is shitty when you only have 1 column and attack twice.
Yeah. I'm like, if Chrono was using any other deck, like, probably just get flattened.
Yeah. I mean, if Chrono had a hand in any capacity, he would have flattened Kazuma.
Also true. Yeah, so that's pretty much all the stuff about the Zereth Dragons. They're making Geese into a card, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be a Cray Elemental or what, but we're probably going to end up talking about him too, because that's what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know.
I'm not watching the show. Who's Geese?
The Satan-esque character who's going to destroy the world or whatever. It's like it's the MacGuffin that all the villains are trying to use.
Is he a human or is he a...
No, he's like some kind of dragon thing, and he just possessed Kazuma. So
yeah,
and then
he is Vanguard Satan.
Maybe it's a Shadow Paladin.
Could be.
I could see it happening.
You're right.
And then apparently after he possessed Kazuma, they put him in like this kind of cloaky outfit, and everyone's like, "Man, Kazuma is like best dressed." Like,
I mean, we already know how Chrono's going to win.
what, Chronojet the White?
Yeah, he's going to just skip Gize's turn and then have another one.
Yeah, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Anything else you guys want to add about the Zeroth Dragons or the ban list or Worlds or anything?
Worlds is a complete joke. Please don't take it seriously.
Yeah, I honestly would probably rather take a locals seriously than.
Yeah. You know what? I will apologize to all of you idiots on Vanguardian. Like, your locals matters. At least more than Bushiroad Worlds does.
Them's fighting words? Question mark? I don't know. Like, good lord. I
mean, at this point, Worlds is a glorified locals. We have a bunch of tryhard Overlord players and people bringing random bullshit that shouldn't win but does.
Hooray for Token Rambu, I guess. Matt, anything to add?
Not a whole lot. ZR stupid shouldn't exist. That's about it.
Can't wait for that $300 dust.
Yeah, I'm definitely not looking forward to that. I have 2 Dark Zone clans. Ew, I have 2 Dark Zone clans. What's wrong with me? What'd you say?
You hate yourself.
Yeah. I mean, Pale Moon I've had forever, but like I have Spike Brothers now. What's wrong with me? Sorry, Proof.
Wow, I'm telling Proof.
He's gonna know. He listens. Yeah, fuck it. Free plug. Check out Living Proof's channel. He's an awesome Vanguard YouTuber. And he's a cool dude. Check out his Discord where all 3 of us hang out if you want to talk to us, or tweet us at Nexus at Night. You can find me at Atlas Novak.
Find me at Wiggums, 2 G's, 2 Z's.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse, even though I never post anything on Twitter.
Whatever. I was actually on a podcast this week called This Is Rad. It's run by a friend of mine, Kyle Clark, and it's just about like people going on and like explaining shit that they think is cool. And I was on an episode about Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. It was really sad and really funny, and you guys should check it out. Also, maybe other podcasts that I like, check out Goods from the Woods and Mean Boys, because they're friends of mine. So until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody. I want to take the time to thank anybody who found this podcast. I also recommend sharing it with your friends, family, anybody who likes Vanguard. You can find us on SoundCloud or on your podcast app, that little purple thing that goes in the folder of the stuff you can't delete, like stocks. Who uses stocks? Anyway, you can also tweet me, Atlas Novak, so at ATLASNOVACK. You can also tweet at Nexus at Night, NEXUSATNIGHT, or you can tweet the Nexus Core YouTube channel, so at NEXUSCORPS. Be sure to check out that YouTube channel. We have, card fights and deck profiles and all that good stuff.